Welcome on board this lockdown escape flight in this Qantas Dreamliner, from Sydney to Cairns. Your pilot today is Steve, so please remember to fasten your safety belts and enjoy the flight. Small noisy children can be stowed in the overhead lockers. Oh wait, I wasn't supposed to read that bit, sorry.
New member of staff, sorry about that. So here we are in this lovely Qantas anniversary livery, 100 years of Qantas, looking bright and shiny and new in this Sydney airport, in this beautiful Dreamliner, of course, the 787. And let's climb on board and get ready for our flight today to Cairns, which of course is right up in the north eastern, isn't it eastern part of Australia. So it should be a nice journey today. Loving all the old logos up the side of the plane as well. And we're using PACX again, which is the passenger and crew experience with this flight today. So we're just putting in our codes, our departure and arrival, and get that all set up. Now, because it's a larger plane, it's going to take a lot longer to load with passengers, so I might just edit some of that part out of the final video, otherwise it gets a bit boring. So it's roughly about a 3-hour flight today up to Cairns, and we'll give ourselves about 25 minutes until takeoff. By the time we've loaded all the passengers, yeah, we'll just leave it at 294, I think. So we've got Wi-Fi on board, we've got boarding music. We do serve snacks, and we might do a meal, why not? And we've got of course, entertainment on board this flight, so the passengers can watch a movie or whatever. So there, with the background of passengers boarding the aircraft, we'll just climb on board the cockpit and get everything set up. We'll turn the batteries on, so at least we've got a bit of power. There is external power available, but we'll get the APU started, which we'll need for starting the engines. And we'll turn on our navigation lights just to let the ground crew know that the cockpit is occupied. Put all our fuel pumps on, ready. And we'll put all our ice on to automatic. And I don't think there's much cloud, not high cloud anyway, which might present problems, but we'll put it on. It's only on automatic anyway. It's there if we need it. So we'll get our position all programmed in. There's less to do on this than there is on the A320, thankfully. Just scrolling through the pages just to see what is here and what we do have to set up. Most of it is programmed in from the home page anyway on flight sim, so you don't have to, normally you don't have to put in a lot of information here. But I've just set the flaps on 10 just to get the V1, VR and V2 speeds. So that's all set to go. We can switch on our flight director. And we can have a look at ATC. Although we ignore that for most of the flight because I find it more of a hindrance than a help, to be honest, because the altitudes that they give you sometimes are very bizarre. I do believe this is a hand-drawn airport, actually. I think it must have come with one of the editions of Flight Sim. I don't know whether it's the Premium Deluxe or came with the default version. I honestly don't know, but it certainly looks a bit more jazzed up, a bit more hand-drawn to me than a default airport. I could be wrong. So all we're waiting for now basically is for our passengers to board the plane. And we can have a look at how that's going. We've got nearly 300 passengers to get on board. It's going to take a little bit of time. We have the first class section, as you can see, business class, and then economy. I think that's business class, that sort of center section on the screen. And we can zip through some of the names. As you can see, we haven't even got half the passengers on board. Alright, we're up to about there at the minute, passengers on board, so we're not even, probably about a third, just over a third, maybe a third of the way into boarding, so we've quite a bit to go. Very satisfied rate is 96%. It seems a bit low. You'd think it'd be 100%, wouldn't you? Because nothing has happened yet. All they're doing is boarding the plane. Just seeing if there's anything I've missed up here, but this is a lot less interactive than the A320. Most of it is either inoperative or just set to auto, and you can't actually make any changes.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I would love to welcome you aboard our flight. When you find your seat, please be sure to place your larger carry-on items in the overhead bins and smaller items underneath the seat in front of you. Unless you're in a front row, please place all of your items in the overhead bin. If you have any trouble finding a location for your carry-on items, please let a flight attendant know and we would be happy to assist you. If the overhead bin is full, please make sure you close it as a courtesy to other passengers. Please double check that all your items are put away so that the aisle is clear and other passengers can make their way to their seats. If you're in an emergency exit row, please read the exit seating responsibilities in the card in the seat back in front of you. If you're not able to comply with these actions, please let a flight attendant know so that way you can be reseated. Now's the time to get out any last-minute text messages if you need to, but we ask that once we depart from the gate, you put away any laptops or tablets. Thank you and welcome aboard.
Right, we're just waiting for the passengers to board. We might as well get our taxi clearance to the runway. At least that's done. Right, everybody's on board, so we can get rid of the jetway.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard Flight 210. Our flight time will be roughly 3 hours. Now that the cabin door is closed, please make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your large devices are now shut down and stowed. Please fasten your seatbelt and make sure that all tray tables and seat backs are in a full upright and locked position for departure. Cabin crew, secure doors for departure.
Right then, let's do this. Let's start reversing out. It's a little bit tight today, so we'll try and avoid hitting anything.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your complete attention to the flight attendants as they demonstrate the safety features of our aircraft. You will notice a light illuminated above your seat. When this light is illuminated, please fasten your seatbelts low and tight across your lap. To fasten, insert the metal fittings into one another and tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. To release your seatbelt, lift the upper portion of the buckle. We suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the flight as we may experience unexpected turbulence. There are several emergency exits on this aircraft. Please take a few moments now to locate your nearest exit. In some cases, your nearest exit may be behind you. If we need to evacuate the aircraft, floor-level lighting will guide you towards the exit. In the event of a decompression, an oxygen mask will drop in front of you. To start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you. Place it firmly over your nose and mouth, secure the elastic band behind your head, tighten the straps if necessary, and breathe normally. Although the bag does not inflate, oxygen is flowing to the mask. If you are traveling with a child or someone who requires assistance, secure your mask on first and then assist others. Keep your mask on until a member of the crew advises you it is safe to remove it. In the unlikely event of a water landing, a life vest is located in a pouch under your seat or between the armrests. When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch and remove the vest. Slip it over your head. Wrap the straps around your waist and buckle at the front. Pull the strap to tighten. To inflate the vest, pull firmly on the red cord only when exiting the aircraft.
Right, we can turn on the rest of our warning lights.
Blow into the
turn on a taxi light.
Each vest is equipped with a whistle and light. If necessary, your seat cushion can be used as a secondary flotation device. Pull the cushion from the seat, slip your arms into the straps, and hug the cushion to your chest. Once again, all devices must be in airplane mode and your larger devices must be turned off and stowed at this time. Please securely stow your personal items. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened and seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position. We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detectors located in the lavatories is prohibited by law. All of this information and more can be found in the safety card located in the seat back in front of you. We suggest reading this and letting a cabin member know if you have any questions. Thank you for flying with us again, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
Right, that's both engines on, all spooling up. Ready to start our taxi. And we haven't got far to go for our taxi to the runway. The runway is basically straight ahead of us. So it's just a matter of travelling to the start of the runway and off we go. So parking brake off, accelerate a little bit, and let's start our journey. I find the secret with manoeuvring this large aircraft, the Dreamliner and the 747, is just to take it slowly. And it makes the corners and the manoeuvring of it much easier. Might take longer, but at least you're not leaving tire tracks all over the grass. Of course, cutting corners helps too. It makes the turning a bit less severe if you can sort of smooth out those corners a little bit. Looks like there's a couple of aircraft up ahead. I'm not quite sure what they're doing on that taxiway. One of them is at a very strange angle. It almost looks like he's trying to block the other aircraft from getting to the runway. Right, we'll just slow down and make a stop before we hit the runway and get clearance from ATC. So we just have to hold short at the minute. There's a plane on the runway as well ahead, who's taking their time to get off the runway. Now I have this on live traffic, so I'm assuming that this is the current state of play in Sydney, although I'm just thinking it will be very late at night, or be late at night now in Australia. So it seems a bit bizarre that those two aircraft are nose to nose. Looks like a standoff to me. I don't know who's going to come out the better. Oh, we also have a plane coming in as well. We've got a Qantas link on the runway, and we've got a Qantas link coming into land. See another one behind the next one as well. No, maybe they're not landing, maybe it looks like they're moving away from the airport, at least one of them does. Oh, well, one of those two planes has disappeared, so that's an improvement. There's the culprit holding us up. Just sitting there. Oh, it's gone. And just like that. Maybe I intimidated him with my drone. Right, so we're good to go. We've got clearance for takeoff. And we've got an aircraft coming in. So we have to sort of get going ASAP, I guess. But we're all set, the lights are on. Flaps are at 10, so we're ready for takeoff. Speed brake is set. We haven't got a checklist like on the A320. Right, I think we're ready. We're good to go. Yep, all set. So let's start spooling the engines up. I'll put them on full thrust and off we go. Well, at least we were able to get some sort of an outside view. It's so hard to keep this plane on the center line. Well, any plane actually. Anyway, we're in the air. Gear is up. Start bringing the flaps up a little bit. Let's get our autopilot switched on and bring our flaps up. So we'll just build our speed now to 250 until we get to 10,000, and above 10,000 then the aircraft will speed up again. Here's a look at Sydney. I can see the Opera House below us and a very strange looking Sydney Harbour Bridge. That might make a good thumbnail.
Ladies Ladies and gentlemen, we have now passed 10,000 feet, so you may turn on larger portable electronic devices. This is also a reminder to please keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the duration of the flight and do not form a line near the lavatories. This aircraft is equipped with onboard Wi-Fi. If you wish to connect to the Wi-Fi, you'll be directed to a page to pay a small fee for internet access. We do offer complimentary in-flight PC thanks to our partners. Connect to the Wi-Fi and you'll be able to access our wide range of free live TV and paid movies library.
Seatbelts already off.
The flight crew has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. You can now get up and move around the cabin. However, we ask that you keep your seatbelt fastened when seated in case of unexpected turbulence.
That's it. Basically, we're all set up now for... We'll just cruise, get up to cruise altitude of 38,000 and let autopilot take over until it's time to make our descent into Cairns. Should be an uneventful journey as far as the weather is concerned. Put on the terrain on the data for the altitude data. There is some high ground as we approach Cairns. There's quite a lot of high ground around the airport, around that area. Got 96% satisfied customers on board, so that's a good sign. Right, we're just making our initial descent into Cairns. As you can see on the map, we're just approaching Fishy. So our initial descent is down to 10,000 feet.
The flight crew has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. Please return to your seat and fasten your seatbelt.
Now there's some of that high ground that I mentioned earlier ahead of us. So we sort of have to
We have
wind
begun
our
our final
way
descent into your destination. Flight
around
attendants will be
these
passing through the
mountainous
cabin to
area.
collect any trash one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in the full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat in front of you. Please complete all Wi-Fi related tasks and stow any larger electronics.
But I think pretty much the flight path takes care of that. Whenever you're setting it up in the first place, it automatically zigzags its way around any high ground. Right, so our next descent point is 4,500. Just starting to bring that speed down a little bit more. Just put the first stage of flaps out just to slow us down a little bit. You can see how close we are to those hills. I can see the green patches starting to appear on the screen on the terrain map. As long as they don't turn red, then we should be okay. Some very low cloud here as well, as you can see. I guess that's because of the mountains. Right, we just need to get past this slightly higher ground ahead, and then we can get down to start descending to our approach height of 2,500 feet. So the airport is literally on the other side of that hill to our right. It looks like a very nice part of the world up here. I imagine the temperature's quite tropical. I don't know a lot of... I have been to Australia, but not this part. I've been in Sydney and Melbourne. But this does look quite tropical. I would imagine the temperature would be quite hot, certainly in the summer. Sydney is a beautiful city. I think out of the two cities that I was in, I think Sydney was definitely my favourite. And being able to go, I had the opportunity to go and see an opera in the Sydney Opera House, and it's one of those, you know, it's one of those moments you're never ever going to forget. Absolutely amazing. I think it was La Traviata, if I remember rightly, in Sydney Opera House. In about 2000, I'm going to say about 2006, I think that was. What an incredible experience. Right, we're going to shortly make that, commence our final turn. And then we should be able to put on our localizer and our approach and come in, hopefully, for a nice smooth landing. How's everybody's lockdown doing? I'm slowly coming out of, I'm currently on furlough, but that's going to end in a few days' time, thankfully, so normal routine shall resume. I'm glad to say, a bit of normality. The only thing I'm going to miss is doing all these flights. It's really kept me sane over the last few weeks. Right, let's start to making this turn. And we can start reducing our altitude now as well. I'm thinking about getting to 2,500 feet. We'll just get over this ridge ahead. Looks a bit daunting before I start getting any lower. Once we're clear of that ridge, I think we can reduce our altitude a bit. I love the livery of this aircraft. It looks amazing. And the new update, just seeing the exhaust from the engines there reminded me that the next update from Microsoft for Flight Sim is going to include contrails for the first time. At least the first time in the 2020 version, we're going to have contrails, which will add a little bit more realism, perhaps. Right, let's try and get down now to 2,400, and that should bring us in nicely on our approach. And we'll get our speed right down as well, and get more flaps out. Yeah, so it's Flight Sim, and discovering Vikings on Amazon Prime has kept me seeing. I love that sort of that, and I don't know how accurate it is, of course, but I love those sort of historical dramas and the Vikings. I think is a very interesting period of history, the Vikings and the Anglo-Saxons and all that. Fascinating stuff. Right, so we're going to make this final turn, and then we should be able to put on our localizer, hopefully. We should be nicely lined up with the runway. Oh, I can see the runway in the distance. I'm going to turn the localizer on, but I can't see a purple diamond on the screen for some reason, but it looks like we've got the glide slope, so I'm not quite sure, but we're certainly lined up with the runway. I'm going to turn the approach on as well, bring our speed down. We need to get more flaps out. Interesting display. There's no purple diamonds on the display for some reason. Although we do seem to be, the glide slope does seem to be active. It's certainly bringing us down and bringing us in at the right. And we're in the right position. And I've got, yeah, I've got all the indicators, but the only thing that's missing is the purple diamonds for some reason. Right, we'll get down to landing speed. Flaps are fully configured and landing gear is down, so I think we're ready to land. Yeah, it's good approach. We've got 2 reds and 2 whites on the poppies ahead, so it looks like we're nicely lined up, so I'm not sure why that doesn't reflect on the display. Let's hope it's just a bug. Right, arm the speed brake and let's do this. Let's land.
300. 200.
Right, autopilot off.
100. 50.
Not quite centered.
30. 20. 10.
Bit of flare. We're down. There's reverse thrust. As usual, drift over to the side of the runway, which seems to be quite normal. Reverse thrust off. Yeah, that was okay. We'll get our flaps up again while I remember about them. That was okay. The landing itself was okay. It was smooth enough. But for some reason it just...
The local time is 10:04 a.m. and it's currently about 15 degrees Celsius. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bins as items may have shifted during the flight. If this is your final destination, we thank you for flying with us and we hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, it seems to be the norm that it doesn't seem to hold its center line. Once you get closer to the runway, it just goes off center. And I don't know whether that's a bug or... I'm not sure. I don't know. It's probably bad flying, actually. Anyway, here we are at Cairns. Everybody survived. Got 95% satisfied passengers on board, so that's not bad. I'll take that. Now, I just have to find my way to a suitable size gate because I'm not sure whether this is a big international airport. It doesn't look like it to me. It looks like a regional airport which probably doesn't cater for large aircraft of this size, I mean. Certainly looks like a nice setting, doesn't it? Looks like a beautiful area. Lots to explore, no doubt. I know they do have fairly good sized gates. I was being unfair, I think. Although whether they take large aircraft, those gates aren't huge, are they? I think I'll go for, there's one straight ahead on the corner. I think that looks like a good place too. There's plenty of room around it apart from that little G aircraft, which is sort of in a strange place perhaps. If I sort of come in here and maybe park at an angle, it should be okay. Preferably without damaging that aircraft next to me. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It's probably not correct, but yeah, that's fine. Looks like a good enough place to stop. Get the rest of our lights off. Get the seat belts off, and that's it. Engines are off. Welcome to Cairns. And passengers are climbing their way out of the aircraft, so I'm going to leave you on a lovely sunny morning here in Cairns, Northern Australia, with a quick swipe around the airport. As we end another flight. So many thanks for joining me again, and we'll see you again soon.